Fear extinguishing. Now, there's a word that most of you guys are not familiar with. Even many of you who are struggling for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Fear extinguishing is probably a word a small percentage of you guys maybe known. Okay, let me know in the comments if you ever heard. Glenn, I've never heard that word before in all my time trying to research this. Fear extinguishing. What do I mean by that? I'm going to get into it really quickly. Okay, fear extinguishing. What's a fire extinguisher? How do you put out a fire? A fire extinguisher, okay, it's proven it can put out fires, right? Yeah? Fire extinguisher put out many fires. Fire extinguisher can only shoot so much, so far, okay? Let's call it, what? Half a meter, okay? Let's say. If that fire extinguisher can only shoot half a meter and the fire is 20 meters away, what are you aiming at? Are you ever going to put out that fire? How do I articulate that in the form of, how does that make sense with anxiety disorders? Okay, let's touch on it. You have this big fire that's so terrifying and scary, okay? You don't want to go close to it. But you have the tools within you and in your hand, okay? Or you the fire extinguisher. But what happens with a lot of people is, although they read all the books, they're highly educated on it, they can't seem to scratch away at anything. They can't seem to get close to recovery whatsoever. So what does the fire extinguisher do? What is fear extinguishing? Well, fear extinguishing is getting close enough to the fears that you're able to actually extinguish them. Okay, so if the fire extinguisher only shoots so far, if it only shoots half a meter, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to be very, very brave, because that fire is really, really hot. Okay, it's powerful. Okay, you're going to have so much bravery. Okay, and it won't happen straight away. You'll have to tippy-toe your way sometimes. Okay, but you will have to make forward momentum close enough to that fire that when you do actually squirt the fire extinguisher on it, it starts to work. And just because you get so close, if it's a big fire, do you think one fire extinguisher is going to work on that? No. You're only supposed to shoot at it once. Literally pour the whole fire extinguisher on that fire, and it's still going to be light and it's still going to be burning. Because in anxiety disorders, if you go into the most perfect exposure, oh, this is great, I haven't been this far away from home in a long time, I had the panic attack and I came back out, your amygdala is still going to be firing on all levels. Why? There's not enough positive reinforcement. You have engaged in negative reinforcement for how many years? How many years are you struggling? Exactly. That many years. Okay? For me, it was 10. So you're going to have to be very, very proactive with this. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to be very brave enough. You now have the tool, which is the fire extinguisher. And now you're going to have to move close enough to the fire to put it out. And that takes a lot of bravery. And not all the time you'll make it. And in recovery, you're not supposed to make it all the time. 90% of agoraphobic recovery is failed attempts. Okay? So in fear extinguishing, you have to get close enough to the fears that they're piping hot, 10 out of 10, full-blown panic, to actually really understand them and really start to put them out, dampen the fears down. So that is what fear extinguishing is. And you guys probably have never heard of that concept or ever even heard of that word fear extinguishing before. But in helping people for 4.5 years now, what I've noticed is this type of psychology where it's the same thing I went through with my disorder. Is we have all the tools, but we're afraid, and it's very valid. You know, panic attacks are horrible. They're terrifying. So it's very, it's very understanding that you don't want to go too close to this fire, but your life's on the line here. Your freedom. You have to be very brave and hold that fire extinguisher and get close enough, because if you're not going close enough to the fire, you'll never put your fears out. Never. You won't. And that's the sad part, but it's also the beautiful part. Okay? You just have to have that bravery. You don't have to have it every day. You don't have to make it every day to that fire, but you need to get close enough. Because if that fire is 10 meters away and your fire extinguisher only shoots half a meter, you can continue shooting that every day, and you're not even touching the fire. So it's a waste of time and a waste of vital energy. Okay? Be brave enough to get close enough to your fire also known as your deepest, darkest fears. That's what's highlighted as the fire, your deepest, darkest fears, okay? You have to get close enough to that so you realize what's actually on the opposite side. And then when you go through that process, okay, you basically send the fear down a different neural pathway. Okay, what's the other neural pathway? That's what's kept you stuck. You go in, oh, this is terrifying, get me out here really, really, really quickly. Now what you're going to do is you're going to willingly put yourself in the situation when you leave. You say, this is going to be absolutely horrible, but I'm going to go as far as I can, as deep as I can, and then get back home, and then repeat. Fear extinguishing. Okay? That is what fear extinguishing is. Now that you have a greater understanding of how to recover, you got to get close enough to your fears. Okay? You've been afraid to get on that highway, that bus. Hey, you've been afraid to walk 10 minutes from home. Go into the midst of panic. Go into the midst of fear and extinguish those fears. And remember, just because you put one fire extinguisher on top of that big, huge fire that's been melting away and, you know, it's so big, so terrifying, okay? Just because you empty that gas tank on it once, or empty that fire extinguisher on it once, it won't even put a dent in it. You have to keep going and going and going and going and emptying that tank on it willingly every single day. And you'll become so mentally strong. And also what will happen is you'll start to recover bit by bit by bit by bit. So, fear extinguishing. You can start today. You can start right after you listen to this video. Fear extinguishing. Go and put out some of your fears. You might try today and fail. Good. Keep trying and failing. It's better than sitting at home, wasting away like a rat stuck in a cage, like what I did for 10 years. Don't be me, please. Don't do what I did. Go into your fears. It's the only way. Extinguish those fears. Let's really see what's on the opposite side. Let's see who attacks and who doesn't, okay? Leave some comments down below if you ever even heard the word fear extinguishing. And get ready for more reels, because I'm going to be coming back with a lot of educational reels and a lot of things that I hope can really inspire, not just for you to listen, but to take action. I don't want you to listen to this and find some reassurance and, oh, that's nice. Get out and attack. That's what I want from you, okay? Let's see who attacks. Go out and fail, because you're not going to get it 100% correct. You're not going to have a big success story today and next week, but you're going to start. Start putting out those fears, guys. Fear extinguishing.